Welcome to this second part in the series Data-Driven Decision-Making by Zeno Analytics. In this video we want to cover three topics that, if not made explicit, can hinder your efforts to come to a valid data-driven decision. First, you need to be clear about the type of decision you want to take, the level of your decision. Second, you will need to specify what kind of information you are after, the information pyramid. Third, you will need to decide how you will handle the most complex of all dimensions, time. Before we start, when you want to learn more about Zeno Analytics, we would like to invite you to visit our website, zenoanalytics.com. To discuss the levels of decision-making, we can display them in a hierarchy, a pyramid. Traditionally, in management, three levels of decision-making are distinguished: strategic, tactical, and operational. We make strategic decisions when we are setting, adjusting, and achieving, or progressing towards, an organization's long-term objectives. Tactical decision-making comes into play when we are making decisions that are targeted towards achieving short to medium-term goals, derived from the strategic objectives of the organization or part of the organization. These decisions also include decisions on effectively and efficiently deploying people, resources, and methods. Operational decisions are focused on achieving short-time results from the deployment of people, resources, and methods, by planning and assigning people, resources, and methods. In short, implementing the processes derived from the tactical decisions. With the changes we've gone through in the last several decades, changes in organizations, technology, society, these three levels no longer describe reality. Implementation of organizational structures that empower more people to decide, based, for example, on agile principles, the availability of more data and information to improve interactions, and the expectations of higher quality and faster service in society, make it necessary to add two more levels to these traditional three. First, process-level decisions that set process parameters, inputs, and outputs. They focus on the continuous management of people, resources, and activities, and involve managing the efficiency, effectivity, and quality of the execution. Second, execution-level decisions are made about specific entities for the efficient and effective treatment of those individual cases or events. The level of decision-making sets distinct requirements on the type, the frequency, and the deployment of the information that we need to make a data-driven decision. The type of information we require can be displayed as a hierarchical pyramid too. This hierarchy is based on aggregation. A lower level of the hierarchy is needed, and/or the required information input from lower levels, to obtain the results at a higher level. We'll start at the bottom with data. Data is stored information on characteristics of individual entities or events, and values derived from these data. For example, we can store the date that someone bought a product and the date the product is delivered. From those, we can derive the delivery time. Based on the data we can make predictions. Prediction is a predicted value or result for individual entities or events in a chosen, limited, time horizon or related to a set of actions. For example, we can predict the expected delivery time for a specific order, or we can predict the propensity that the customer will order again within the next 3 months. We can aggregate the data and predictions to get indicators. An indicator is an aggregate of data values or predictions over time and/or other dimensions. The lowest level of an indicator is the individual data point. For example, we could create an indicator of total orders per month per branch, by counting the individual orders for each value of the combination of the time and the branch dimensions. Performance information we can get from deviation of an indicator from a set goal or budget. This is a so-called performance indicator. If it is deemed as essential by the organization, it is sometimes called a key performance indicator or KPI. With forecast, we're trying to look into the future. A forecast is a prognosis of a future value of an indicator in a chosen, limited, time horizon. This can be created by using forecasting methods on aggregated indicators to, for example, forecast the expected amount of revenue in the next 3 months. It can, however, also be done by aggregating the prediction data. For example, you could count the number of customers with a propensity to cancel a subscription higher than 0.5 in each of the next 3 months. Based on a forecast, we can get a performance prognosis. Basically, it is similar to performance, but now we look at deviations off forecasts with set goals or budget in a chosen time horizon. If we see deviations we do not like, we can now start an initiative to change the forecast. Finally, we have prescriptive information. Prescriptive consists of recommendations, based on, mathematical, optimization towards our goals and objectives, for actions to correct mismatches, or deviations, in performance prognosis, and/or predictions. Each level of information requires different skills, technology, and interpretation. The type of information, therefore, has a large influence on our requirements. The third and final topic that we want to address in this video is the time dimension. Timelines are essential to data-driven decision-making. We want to know when events happen and when follow-up events happen. We want to compare our measurements over time, etc. However, we need to determine which timeline is relevant to us. This is best illustrated with an example. Different types of questions that we ask of our data will require different timelines. When we take a look at orders, we might be interested in the date of the transactions, the actual date a customer placed an order. In a different situation, we might be interested in the date that the product was shipped or delivered. For financial analyses, we may want to look at the invoice date to establish a timeline, or the date of payment. And then the future may hit us like a boomerang. How do we want to handle returns, or payment defaults, or warranties, or other situations, on our timeline? Taking the time beforehand to think about, and discuss the time dimension, and being aware of the choices you make, and the consequences thereof, is critical for good data-driven decision-making. Thank you for watching this video. Next topics that will be covered in this series will be missing or dark data, knowing what you don't know, an agile methodology for data-driven decision-making, how to make it happen. When you are interested in more information about Zeno Analytics, we invite you to visit our website at zenoanalytics.com.